On November 18th, 1910, over 300 women marched to the Houses of Parliament in London demanding a meeting with the Prime Minister. Earlier that year, anti-suffrage Prime Minister H. Asquith had promised a conciliation bill were he re-elected that, while not universal, would grant voting rights to about 1 million property-owning and upper-class women. The suffragists had opposed Asquith's campaign and pointed out that the conciliation bill was unlikely to materialize under his re-election, but Asquith won another term nonetheless. From the end of January till July of 1910, the Women's Social and Political Union, under the leadership of Emmeline Pankhurst, paused its militant actions and threw all of its resources into campaigning Parliament for the passage of the promised conciliation bill. On the 11th and 12th of July, the bill reached its second reading stage and passed with a vote of 299 to 189, but at the end of the month, Parliament was announced to be deferred until November. The WSPU waited patiently, weighing whether or not to resume militant activities, but ultimately deciding to play nice with the Liberal government. And on November 12, 1910, Liberal Party politician Sir Edward Grey announced that no further parliamentary time would be given to the conciliation bill, so the WSPU announced in response that it would be marching on Parliament when they reconvened on the 18th. What started as a march quickly turned into a bloodbath. When the women arrived at Parliament Square, they were quickly kettled by Metropolitan Police and attacked by male bystanders, many of whom the suffragists recognized as plainclothes police officers. Women were beaten, thrown to the ground, crushed by police horses. More than 30 were violently sexually assaulted. 2 women would end up later dying from the injuries they'd sustained at the hands of the police. Rosa May Billinghurst, a disabled suffragist who used a wheelchair, was wheeled by police into an alleyway where she was beaten and assaulted before the police stole the valves from her wheelchair, leaving her stranded. One police officer threw a suffragist to the ground and started repeatedly smashing her head into the pavement. Seeing this, another suffragist came to the woman's aid, placing herself between the victim and her attacker. When the police officer lifted his eyes and took in the second woman's face, he recognized her. She was famous. A fashionable socialite whose pictures were frequently printed in the newspapers. And more dangerous than that, she was a princess and the goddaughter of Queen Victoria herself. Upon laying eyes on Princess Sophia Duleep Singh, youngest daughter of the last maharajah of India, the cop ran away with his tail between his legs. Welcome back to Respect the Dead, the podcast where sometimes we do.
Sweaty, it's no surprise that everybody celebrated your demise, and now worms are eating your eyes. So don't you worry your rotten head as you sleep in your sodden bed. It's time to respect the dead. It's time to respect the dead. It's time to respect the dead.
I love when we do.
It's fun sometimes to respect the dead.
Like, I don't want them to get, like, you know, too comfy. I've always said the dead are too comfortable.
Yeah. Sleeping a little too sound.
Yeah. Like, how do you sleep at night? After everything you've done. It's like, well, they're very dead, but...
Like a corpse, really. Hi, I'm Hoots.
Kaylin.
And in our last episode, in the timeline of release, we talked about a trans exclusionary radical feminist, a TERF, specifically a British TERF. And in recent years, the British women who have cloaked their transphobia in feminism have adopted the colors of the suffragists, purple, white, and green, as like the new TERF colors, something that really bothers me. These are women, these trans exclusionary radical feminists are women who broadly know very little about the history of the fight for women's suffrage, but like to pretend that their work bullying trans people on the internet is like an extension of that history.
Yeah, and they invoke their names as well. Like, not like their actual names because they don't know the names
They
of
don't know
any
any
of
of
these
them.
activists,
Yeah.
but they invoke like the name of the suffragists as
Yes.
if somehow they are like, you know, like we are the daughters of the witches that you wouldn't wished or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
And I guarantee you, if any of these women had been born 100 years or earlier, they would have been anti-suffrage. They would have been the women criticizing the
they
suffragists.
like pretty much still are.
Yeah, it's true. Some of them are starting to like go full mask off and saying maybe women shouldn't vote because women always vote for liberal causes.
Yeah, these stupid woke women. You can't even have women vote anymore because of the woke mind virus.
So true. So today I want to talk about some of that actual history. And specifically, I want to look at an influential figure in the fight for women's suffrage who was a high status woman of color who was also accepting of her queer family members, which are all concepts that kind of fly in the face of everything that transphobic middle class British white women want to believe about the Victorian and Edwardian periods. Sophia Duleep Singh was the youngest daughter of Maharaja Duleep Singh. Duleep Singh had been the last Maharaja of the Sikh Empire in India. So I believe in our Queen Elizabeth II episode, we kind of briefly touched on this in regards to the British acquisition of the Koh-i-Noor diamond. But basically, following a couple of wars between the English and the Sikhs, Duleep Singh was forced to abdicate the throne at age 11, so he was a child, and also to give the British this like huge blood diamond that they still have to this day. And I'm going to send you a picture of Duleep Singh when he became Maharaja at age 5 because the British killed his dad and also like a whole bunch of his other relatives.
Jesus.
Yeah, so he became king at age 5 after like a bunch of very quick secessions because the British kept killing his relatives. So this is a little painting of him as a baby Maharaja.
It's actually a really good painting.
Yeah.
Like, not like specifically like detailed in the face or anything, but like
it conveys an
good.
emotion. He looks
Yeah.
very serene for a 5-year-old.
Yeah, but like also completely alone. He's sitting on like a faded red seat and he's like alone and everything around him is like completely grayed out.
Yeah. So he became monarch when he was 5. He was deposed when he was 11, and he was forced to live in exile because typically when monarchs are deposed, it's considered like a bad idea to let them.
Yeah, they shouldn't be running around.
Yeah, to let them continue
being like,
to
hey,
live
weren't
in
things
their
better
place.
when I
Yeah.
was on the throne?
Literally.
Damn, I'd surely reward anyone who got me back on the throne.
Exactly. So
which is
like
what I would be doing 100%.
Yeah. And usually we deal with that because like usually monarchs are adults. So usually when we overthrow a monarchy, we kill them. But it's
Yeah, like
bad
super
optics
dead.
to kill an 11-year-old. So they were like,
apparently killing children is wrong.
I've heard. It doesn't reflect well on your empire if you kill an 11-year-old. So they were like, you can live, but you can't live here. You have to go somewhere else.
It's closing time, babe.
Yeah. Yeah. One last call. So Duleep Singh eventually converted to Christianity, and he moved to London at the age of 16 in 1854. And he was a very pretty boy. So he quickly became one of Queen Victoria's favorites. And she and her husband, Albert, showered him with gifts and invited them to stay with them on numerous occasions in their like various stately homes. And they eventually set him up with like a really fancy pension because pretty privilege. I'm going to send you a picture of him shortly after he moved to England. This is a photo.
And he's like 12?
16.
Or how? Okay.
Or teens. Somewhere in his teens.
He was in exile for a couple years. And then
just kicking around. And then he moved to London. This is shortly after he moved to London as a teenager.
He looks like so many of the people I was a barista with.
He does. He has kind of hipster vibes.
He looks like he makes a really good velvety microfoam.
Yeah. He also does not look like he's 16. He looks like he's 25.
Oh yeah, 100. That full ass beard,
Facial hair.
like,
Yeah. Bro
yeah,
could grow a beard.
he's adorable though.
He is cute. Like, I get why Queen Victoria was like, I'm going to keep this one around. And her husband
Wasn't she,
did
how
too.
old was she?
Cute. Old by now. She and Albert were like,
so
I
it
think,
wasn't a
middle-aged at
perving
this
on a
point.
16-year-old thing. She was just like, I like pretty things,
I
and I
like
think I
pretty
can own
things.
things. So
Yes.
why can't I own this pretty thing?
Exactly. And her, like, she very famously was like very much in love with Albert, her husband.
Okay.
But I think they just like to keep pretty people around them.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, I think it's totally fair. I think it's okay to make a rule where you're only friends with hot people, you know?
Yeah.
Especially if you're rich, because like then you're dressing all of your friends and you want to have pretty dolls to dress.
Yeah. It sounds a little psychotic, like, because of the fact that it is.
That it
but that
is,
doesn't
yeah.
make it wrong.
I mean, if
sometimes you just want to dress your pretty little friends up in pretty little clothes and have them dance around your pretty little home.
Yeah. If we're already accepting, like, as a foundation, the idea of monarchy, like, we have to accept all the fucking batshit things that come with it, you know?
This happened to my friends, the Pretty Little Liars, so it makes sense that it would happen to other pretty people.
Also queens.
Yeah.
When Duleep Singh was around 25 or 26, he meets Sophia's mother, an Ethiopian German woman named Bamba Mueller, while he was on a visit to Cairo. I'm going to send you a picture of Bamba.
Sorry, what's his name?
His name is Duleep.
Okay,
Duleep
every time
Singh.
you say Duleep, my brain goes like full terminal online and thinks you're saying Dula Peep, which is the wrong name for Dua Lipa. Dua Lipa.
Oh my god, I'm gonna call him Dua Lipa for the rest of the episode. So this is a photo of Bamba.
Oh my god, that face is so like.
She's so pretty.
She's so pretty, but she's not fucking around.
No, she's
like
she's
if you
really
drew
tired.
lasers coming out of her eyes, it would like not seem out of place.
She's really tired of waiting for this camera to process.
Yeah, it's been 15 days. Back then they had to power up the steam engine.
Yeah, just like waiting there, sitting up
for
straight
a lightning
forever.
Strike to light the bulb.
Yeah. So Bamba's early story is kind of a Cinderella story. Bamba was the illegitimate child of a German merchant and an Ethiopian woman named Sophia. And she had just been like a teacher working at a convent school that the prince was visiting in Cairo as part of his like
right, because they're
duties.
Christian now.
Yes. So he was just like visiting, you know, the way royals do. And then he meets and falls in love with this teacher and they end up getting married. I put a lot of pictures in this episode. If you're mad about it listening to audio, go fucking watch the video. I don't apologize for anything. Here's a picture of them right after they get married, and his facial hair decisions are fucking insane.
You know, I feel like it would still work on me. Like I mean,
approve, facial hair is better than no facial hair.
I prefer it not. But if that guy came up to me and was just like, "You want to suck it?" I'd be like,
yeah, I guess I do.
Yeah.
They're
like,
both very pretty
about it, but now that you said it, I can't stop thinking about it.
They're a gorgeous couple. They're really pretty.
Yeah.
So
I like his like 8-piece suit too.
I know. And I love her big dress.
So many layers.
They're wearing so much fabric. They look
like that's
hot.
Insane. I could easily make like a duvet, a full set of floor length curtains, and like a throw for my couch out of just what she's wearing.
Yes.
I also love her long ass necklace. Look how long that is.
Me too. Like a little lavalier.
Yeah, it's like a little bottomless necklace.
What a queen.
Okay, sorry, go on.
Okay, so Sophia Duleep Singh was named after her grandmother, Sophia.
Such an amazing name.
So pretty. They're both spelled like Sophia, but I watched a few documentaries and it's pronounced Sophia, which is way prettier than amazing. Sophia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sophia.
Yeah. Eat shit, Sophias.
And they probably do.
Sophia was born on August 8th, 1876, making her a Leo. And
I call
she was
those almost Virgos.
almost Virgos. Is that like
Yeah.
right before Virgo?
Yeah. So
I need to
they're
get
like,
better at my astrology.
they were like this close to being perfect.
Mm.
But near perfect's pretty good, I've always said.
It's the second best thing to perfect.
Yeah.
She was born in Belgravia, a wealthy borough of London, and she had two older sisters. The eldest was named Catherine, and the middle child was named Bamba after her mom. And
Cute.
she also had three brothers, Victor, Frederick, and Albert, but I don't care about them because they're men, so this is going to be like the last time you hear about them. The children of Bamba and Duleep Singh lived an incredibly privileged life in a mansion in Elvedon, which is in Suffolk, that he'd had partially renovated to resemble the court at Lahore in the Punjab. So like the outside looks like a British stately manor, and then you go inside and it looks like you're in a fucking Indian palace.
Okay, that's so based.
I know, so cool. It's
like the
so
TARDIS.
pretty.
It's
Yes.
more Indian on the inside.
It's more Indian on the inside. That's right. That's what they say in Doctor Who.
That's the Doctor Who's famous line.
Yeah, it's more Indian on the inside. And okay, a little bit less based, but funny. The family kept a menagerie of monkeys, peacocks, and even tigers on their estate in the English countryside.
I love it.
They must have been
I
so
love
cold.
A cute little Saturday of like having one of the servants like tie a stake around his neck and run, and then see how quickly
the tiger mauls them.
The tiger will, yeah. Just coming down, and there's like a full-on spider monkey tail like hanging out of the tiger's mouth.
By the 1860s, Duleep Singh was feeling a little bit less than charmed by the British. You know, like now he's not a child.
We've all been there.
Yeah, yes. We've all passed our childhood. We've all passed into adulthood and realized that the British are not all they're cracked up to be. So now he's like a fully grown man, and he's starting to think that like maybe they fucked him over by forcing him to abdicate and leave his homeland at the age of 11.
Maybe.
So he converts back to Sikhism, and in 1886, in 1886, when Sophia was 10, he attempted to secretly sail back home to India with his family.
I feel like back then, just like having like a quick secret sail as like a deposed monarch living in the country that deposed you, do they not have tabs? Like, do they not have nasty little spies crawling around? I saw Game of Thrones.
They sure as shit do. Yeah.
Okay.
The queen is like, no, you fucking aren't. So they actually made it all the way to Yemen before getting stopped by the Viceroy of India. Because basically Yemen is where what is now Yemen is like where his jurisdiction started. So like the crown like watched him sail, and she was like, no, I think the fuck not. And she sent a little letter ahead, and the Viceroy of India met him like at the edge of town and was like, I'm sorry, dude, you have to go home.
Yeah.
So he's forced to return to Europe. Bamba and the kids go home, but Duleep Singh runs away to Paris with the maid, a woman named Ada Wetherhill.
That happens.
Yeah. So this is where Bamba's story stops being a Cinderella story. He runs away with the maid, and Bamba dies very shortly thereafter, essentially of grief. She basically drank herself to death when her husband abandoned her. Yeah. So with a dead mom and an absent father in another country, the children basically all become orphans. And you know how we love orphans on this podcast.
Yeah.
And then when Duleep Singh eventually dies himself 6 years later in 1893, they all literally become orphans. And they're teenagers.
Did the maid get him?
Maybe. I like to think so. I think it was actually like a fever or something, you know, the things that normally kill people in their 50s in the 1800s. But let's say the maid killed him. Let's say she was actually a girl boss, and she was pulling a little, are we dating the same guy?
Are we killing the same guy?
Are we poisoning the same guy?
Because we should probably coordinate on that if we are. That's
oh my God.
Really SVU or whatever. If you're listening, you can totally use that. We just want writer credit.
Yeah. Speaking of SVU, do you want to take a little ad break and maybe they'll get ads for SVU?
Oh yeah, Law and Order, SVU.
Boom, boom.
I'm back.
We're back. So everyone's orphans.
Somebody was freshly murdered.
We're orphaned.
We're making orphans like crazy. We are just shitting them out.
Literally 6 orphans in one go. Like productive orphan making. Orphan manufacturing.
Maid was an orphan maker.
Yes.
She was like, this is an assembly line, honey. It's the 1800s. We need to start cranking these out. My friend Ford gave me this really good idea on making orphans just so much more efficiently.
So much faster. Yeah. She's on that orphan grind set. So orphans all around. Queen Victoria, as Sophia's godmother, saw to it that the Singh children were taken care of financially and saw to their boarding school education between the deaths of their mother and father. So she like kind of stepped in even before daddy died. She was like, oh, so I guess he's not coming back. Maybe you should go to high school.
We've all had that revelation about daddy.
Maybe daddy's not coming back.
Things I've said to myself so many times. But like, I love that people take godparenthood
seriously in this period
to like in like 100 different directions. Like some people are like, that means I would have to take a bullet for this child, and some people are like, it's just something I agreed to do, but if their parents died, I would not accept taking them in. And like other people are like, oh no, this is my family now. Like,
right.
Like God had, like, I agreed to do this in front of God. Like some people take it as serious as like marriage vows.
It has the name
like,
God.
It's not real. Like God's not real. Your goddaughter is not real. Oh. I'm glad the queen is like taking care of these orphans, but like I wonder how much of it was her being like, I should have never agreed in front of God to be their parent.
This sucks. I get the impression that Queen Victoria did like her again because like her dad was her pretty plaything and now her goddaughter is her pretty plaything.
And she gets to talk about how she like took them in front of all of her friends.
100%. Like these poor
how
orphans.
Magnanimous and generous she is. She's like, we didn't have to. We could have thrown them to their tigers, had them ripped apart by their monkeys.
But it would have been easy.
It would have been easy. They're starving in the estate right now.
We probably should have.
And I still
didn't. So upon the death of her father, Sophia actually wasn't starving. She inherited an enormous amount of his wealth because he had a lot of money. They all did. Each kid was set for life, except for I think her youngest brother, who was the only one younger than her. I think he died as a kid. I can't remember.
So I think he's already inheritance. Dead. So everybody
most
got
of them
one
split
tiger leg. She got the head and tail.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my God, mount that shit.
The head and the tail is just so funny just to mount only those two.
The head and the ass, just, like next to each other on your wall.
You would just get like I would do like a scene with like a bunch of tall grasses.
Like he's jumping through.
See the head and the butt. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cute. Yeah. And Queen Victoria, who had been like a little bit of a fashion plate back in her day, basically encourages Sophia and her sisters to become socialites. She's like, you're rich now.
Fashion plate?
Yeah. She was.
The fuck does that mean?
She was like a fashionable lady. Have you never heard that phrase before?
No, that's insane.
Yeah.
Fashion plate.
Google it.
Oh, plate is in like the hard plate. It's like a slate.
Yeah.
But with a p.
But you also say that about someone who has been like who is fashionable.
It's like saying like she looks like a fashion magazine. People aren't like she looks like an actual magazine. They're like
right, yeah.
Okay, I get it. I'm learning so much today.
Yeah. So like back at when Victoria was young, she was like wearing all the pretty dresses. She was pretty. And now she's like, well, now you're rich and young and you can be pretty. Do it.
I love that.
So she encourages them to like get into fashion, get into tiny dogs, get into gambling, because you're only young once. And Queen Victoria gives Sophia and her sisters an apartment at Hampton Court Palace that Sophia would live in off and on for basically the rest of her life. So she's like, you're rich now, go be famous. Here's a free apartment in my palace. Rich people get all the good things.
Yeah. What the fuck?
I know.
I'll like get paid for one of the videos I actually made and be like, whoa, talk about privilege. Homegirl just gets like a beautiful apartment for her and her tiger to go chill.
For free. Yeah.
That tiger probably ate so many of those tiny dogs.
Oh my God, so many.
Just like fucking
so many
like
little
fucking
sausage
Pringles.
dogs. They look like sausages. So this is why I say I think Queen Victoria actually liked her, because I think if she didn't, she would have been like, my godmother duties are to put you in boarding school, and once you're out, you're on your fucking own. Yeah. But she was like, come live with me. You can stay here for free. Come on, girls. Okay, she's like the cool mom.
She's the cool mom. Yes.
She's the cool mom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Midnight margaritas.
To this gorgeous
hot young thing. Yeah.
It
makes her feel young again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I think at this point Albert is also dead. So she's probably like, God, I just need to be around young live people. Time. Yeah, she's so bored. On May 8th, the sisters Catherine, Bomba, and Sophia are officially presented at court, and it's decided that they will officially be referred to by the title of princess. You know how that's always a thing, like whether or not to officially call them princess or Dutch. They will officially go by the title of princess. I'm going to send you a beautiful picture of the three of them so you can see what the three of them look like. This is the night that they were presented at court.
What the fuck year was this?
1895.
Around?
This is 1895.
The camera is deceptively old.
So Bomba is the furthest.
Amazing.
They're beautiful. Bomba is the furthest to the left. Catherine is the one in the middle, and Sophia is the one all the way on the right.
All of them, they're very like femme, but they are like stone faced.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
bad
amazing.
Bad bitches.
Yeah, it's giving like a futch. It's giving that like femme butch moment where like attire is super femme, face is like, oh no, like I'll rock your shit.
Every single one of them would step on you. I think especially Catherine.
Yeah. They look like they're in a gang. Like
yes.
Like this is amazing. The frilly shoulders that are
so
like,
pretty. I love it.
They're like
so
a foot long, fucking huge, like literal swan wings on their shoulders. Fucking amazing.
I love them. Ugh. So the Singh princesses became high society darlings, in part because they all looked like that, like they were all incredibly beautiful, but because this is Victorian London and they're brown women, they're also kind of oddities. Like they're considered too brown to be considered legitimate brides for any white British noblemen, but they're too anglicized for any wealthy Indian men. So even though they're all princesses in Britain, Bomba eventually ends up marrying a commoner. Catherine, the middle one, who's considered the most beautiful of the three, never gets married because Catherine was a lesbian.
Yeah, I was about to say. I know a lesbian one. That one in the top middle, right?
Clocked, yes.
Yeah, oh no, yeah, absolutely. I looked at her and I was like, oh, sweetie.
There she is. And Sophia stays unmarried for her whole life, even though apparently she was like very maternal and wanted to have children. Just they lived in racist ass Victorian London.
I bet the men were fucking trash too. Like,
oh, you know they were so horny like, and so nasty.
Yeah, and like nasty in their soup brains, but also like just nasty.
Just gross. Yeah.
There was no trimmers. These guys were not shaving their balls. Like they didn't have toilet paper. They were wiping their asses on their fucking house poodles and then giving them to the servants to clean. Like
right.
It was probably so gross all around. And she's like immaculate.
Right.
Like,
and his bush is briar. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine like a man touching her? That's disgusting. Cut off his
Yeah.
hands. Like, how fucking
Not in that
dare
white
you?
dress. Absolutely the fuck not.
No, get the fuck
What
away
do you
from
think? I
me.
can
You're an
dry clean
animal.
this?
Yeah. What? What's the name of her tiger? We didn't name it. Tiger.
Pietka.
That's cute.
I'm still obsessed with that name from your tiger episode. So it's 1895. Sophia. So it's
Almost got
1890.
you.
Almost got me, bitch. Not today.
Nice try.
Nice try, brain. So it's 1895. Sophia is 19. She's rich, beautiful. She's an orphan, and she's living in. I know,
all
rich,
of the
beautiful,
things
and
I've
an
always
orphan.
wanted to be. A rich, beautiful 19 with a tragic backstory.
Oh my god!
Like,
And a princess.
Fuck off.
She becomes like basically the Paris Hilton of her day.
Paris Hilton, but like she was richer because her parents were dead.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
she didn't
Paris
have to
still
deal
had
with
to
her
have.
horrible, shitty parents.
I'm sending you another picture of her wearing like a traditional Indian dress. She's so fucking pretty. I love her.
Oh, she looks amazing.
She's so pretty. And then here's just another picture of her out and about with some of her dogs.
Yes. These dogs are so fucking stupid looking.
They look so dumb. Like
they look like the kind of dog where if
not
you
a single brain cell.
If you just
They'd
pantomime
run.
throwing something, even if they saw there was nothing in your hand, they would 100% run for it and look for it and then come back to you like, I couldn't find it. I'm so sorry. I failed you. So cute though. Not the dogs.
Love it. Yeah, she's adorable.
You can
Love
throw
her
those
hat.
dogs inside a tiger for all I care.
Sophia's always in the newspapers. She's super into fashion. She's into horse racing. She's into dog breeding. And okay, so she's even a little scandalous because she's one of the first women in London to get and ride a bicycle, which men did not like women doing back then. They were really afraid that it was going to like make women like premature age them because they're going too fast.
That is so fucking weird.
It's so unhinged, right?
I know that science was only invented like 25 years ago or whatever, but like I swear to God, people are so fucking stupid. Like, you know,
like,
that
it'll
people
make your skin
legitimately
sag.
believe this. Yeah. You're going to get off the pressure, the centrifugal force or whatever the fuck. You're going to get off that bicycle. Your whole face is going to be hanging off your skull.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
but men's
skin
can deal with it.
about like hymens popping or something.
They're probably worried about that too. I've definitely heard the skin sagging thing though. And it's like, but for some reason men's skin is like thicker, so they won't.
All the
they can ride a bicycle.
Is holding it down.
That's right, because they don't wash.
Yeah.
So here's a picture of her with her bicycle. I fucking love her. She's giving cunty Wicked Witch of the West.
So Wicked Witch of the West. She looks exactly
She's wearing the
just
same
like
outfit.
the Wicked Witch of the West. Yeah.
She's wearing the same outfit.
Do
from the
not
beginning
say
of
that
Wizard of Oz.
goddamn witch was not serving cunt.
Oh, she absolutely was. That's why Dorothy hated her.
Oh yeah, Dorothy was a fucking homophobe. 100%.
So true.
Friend of Dorothy.
We're really
J.K. Rowling.
We're really coming for Dorothy in this episode. Here's just
She's fucking amazing. Her bike is so fucking cool.
Her bike is so
They had
cool.
a lot of things. I desperately need a timeline of just when things were invented.
When things happened. Yeah.
Because like this looks
they
like
had
a
bicycles.
bike you would buy today.
Yeah.
I expected it to look a little more rickety, maybe wooden. Maybe it has a cover, like a covered wagon.
Nope, just a normal bicycle. And there's another picture of her with some more dogs and a horse. And I just wanted to send it because her waist is so fucking snatched.
She's cinched. She is.
Yeah. Waist.
She is cut in half.
Yeah.
She's like a worm. She's like both
body
sides are about to wiggle away and become two different creatures. Also, this 100%. I looked at this dog. I'm like, Cerberus?
Yes, it looks like one dog with three heads.
I'm like, you're like, she's into dog breeding. And I'm like,
Like,
what
she's
sicko
sick.
eugenic shit is she doing? And then I'm like, why does that horse only have 2 legs? His whole
She
his
knows
whole
what she's
picture is like
doing. It's unhinged.
it's giving like welcome to the freak show.
Oh no, the
Her
two-legged horse.
her two-legged tootie horse, her like living mop or whatever is in the middle, and then her 3-headed Cerberus greyhound dog. Gorgeous.
Iconic. And this is why they gave her the throne. Okay.
He would look so cute in that outfit.
I want that outfit so badly.
Yeah.
I want that waist too. She's so snatched.
Well, they didn't. I don't know if they'd invented food back then. So
That's
like,
right. Mm.
they weren't frying stuff.
They were just eating
probably.
slop.
Yeah.
So she's like basically a kind of frivolous celebrity. But in 1903, Sophia and the sisters managed to secretly travel to India and attend the Delhi Durbar. Delhi Durbar was essentially a massive 2-week party to celebrate the ascension of the next king to the throne because Queen Victoria was dead.
Bye.
So the celebrations culminated in a ball to which Lady Curzon, the Viceroy of India's wife, wore an infamous gown called the peacock dress. I'm going to send you a picture of this dress.
Oh, damn. This episode is audio visual.
I know. I'm sending you so many fucking pictures this time. I haven't done it in a while, so I'm doing a picture-heavy episode. People who are into YouTube might recognize this dress.
Oh, damn.
Yes. This dress was painstakingly constructed using a traditional Indian gold wire weaving method and beetle wings, like literal beetle wings, to create these like massive panels that look like peacock feathers.
Oh my God, knowing me, I would put this on and then I would like accidentally go for a smoke or something and just like
yes. Right.
Gorgeous.
So an untold number of unnamed Indian women labored over this gown for a white British woman to wear to a coronation ball celebrating British dominion over India. So it is a problematic work of art. And a few years ago, a YouTuber called Bernadette Banner started releasing some videos documenting her attempts with a woman named Kathy Hay to recreate the dress before they both got sort of canceled for the project because, again, it's a problematic work of art. Yeah. And Bernadette Banner took all the videos down. So YouTube fans, you might recognize this tangentially related dress. So after the Delhi Durbar, Sophia remained in Lahore for a period of time to learn about her ancestral homeland. And for the first time, she came face to face with the poverty of Indians under the British Raj. Sophia Duleep Singh was kind of radicalized by that first trip to India, like obviously.
Yeah.
And as the new British monarch had somewhat like loosened his grip on the Singh children. So this first one they kind of like secretly took. Sophia and Bamba officially returned to India 3 years later in 1906. The new king was like, it's fine. They can go home. Notably, Catherine, the middle sister, did not come with Sophia and Bamba on the second journey to India because by 1904, she had run away to Germany to live in sin with an older woman named Lena Schaefer.
Based.
So yeah, I want to do just like a little Catherine sidebar because like every woman in this family is like fucking amazing. Lena Schaefer had been a former governess of Catherine's, so we do have to call her a problematic queen. It's a problematic relationship. But in early 1904, Catherine runs away with her to Germany and lives with her there until Lena's death in 1937. And the details and the extent of this have just only sort of started coming to light, but like in recent years we're starting to get like letters that are confirming this. But basically, as the Nazi party started to come into power in the early 30s, Catherine and Lena helped a bunch of Jewish families escape from Germany.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah, and for this reason she's been nicknamed the Indian Schindler. After Lena's death in 1937, a friend of Catherine's advised that she also flee Germany for her own safety because she was like, hey,
Yeah, hey, by
being
the way.
a gay brown woman, not a good place to be. You should probably get the fuck out. So she did. She left Germany and then she died of a heart attack in 1942. And Sophia and Bamba had her ashes returned to Germany to be buried with Lena.
Okay, that's gorgeous.
Yeah.
That's so supportive.
It makes me tear up. I know. There's no evidence that they ever had any problem with the relationship. And yeah, per her wishes, they returned some of her ashes to be buried by Lena's side.
I want my ashes to be buried by my true love side. So like a tobacco field, in like a marijuana garden, wherever they grow those, or just like dumped next to like somewhere where they make Diet Pepsi, I guess.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Noted. I will make a note of that. But I think it's so gorgeous. Like you and your gay lover helping all the Jews escape Germany and then
well, not all of them.
Well, a lot of them. Well. Not all of them. Fair. Okay, let's take another break.
Spoiler alert for anyone listening to the podcast. I'm rewatching Human History, but I haven't watched season 4 yet. So no spoilers.
I got some bad. Oh, it's gonna get really heavy for a little bit.
I'm on the 1900s, but I haven't gotten to season 4 yet, so don't spoil anything for me.
Okay, sorry. Let's take a commercial break. We're back. And we're back in 1906. Are you okay?
I forgot I was 3D printing something.
Oh.
So like from the other room, I heard, ah. And I was like, okay.
The rapture?
The man that's living in my walls is like murmuring to me from the other room right now. It's really unsettling because it literally just sounded like a man going like, ah. If I get murdered while we're recording this podcast, you have to post it.
Yeah, I'll release the footage.
Yeah. We would make so much money so quickly.
Oh my God.
We is a strong word. Our Patreon would be booming because make it a Patreon only exclusive. Like she'll write up until I get killed and then be like, the full version is on our Patreon for our lovely members.
Right. And then Davi and I will be eating good. Thanks to our editor, Davi. This is a good place to plug our Patreon.
Who will then replace me?
Okay, we're back in 1906. Catherine is living out the early days of her romance with Lena in Germany, but Sophia and Bamba have returned to India. Sophia's grandfather, Ranjit Singh, had been an incredibly popular and charismatic ruler. So as Sophia and Bamba traveled within his former domain, everywhere they go, people would like point them out and sort of be like, Ranjit Singh, like they'd hear people murmuring his name as they passed.
That's what people do when I walk down the street. But it's not my name.
But
it's my nickname.
It's not your name.
Like,
yeah.
Faggot. Oh my God, that's faggot.
And many of the people they spoke with in India would tell them stories about their grandfather and what a good leader he was. And all of these grand stories about the good old days under the leadership of their grandfather really contrasted with the incredible poverty and suffering Sophia observed under British rule.
Yeah.
So the movement for Indian independence was really starting to grow throughout this period and wouldn't come to a head until after the Second World War, as both of us have touched on in episodes, but it was pretty much a part of the zeitgeist and probably played a big role in why Indian subjects were also romanticizing and lauding the family of the former Maharaja. Sophia met with a couple of leaders of the Indian nationalist movement during the 1906 visit, and she noted in a diary she kept at the time how beautiful and sensible their speeches were. During this visit, British officials in India basically refused to speak to or be seen with the princesses at all because they were terrified that like the mere presence of the descendants of the former Maharaja would cause riots. So Sophia and Bamba returned home to London very deeply affected by their time in Punjab. And sometime after the sisters' return from India, Bamba traveled to Chicago to attempt to study to become a doctor. Again, every woman in this fucking family is incredible. So she travels to Chicago to start her studies as a doctor, but basically halfway through her course, the university declared that women were incapable and canceled her course.
I like how the university just like declared it.
Yeah.
Like
they were like,
not like
actually we've decided
proven this. Yeah. It's just like, no, actually, women are incapable of learning.
Go home. Yeah. So all of the Singh princesses, but especially Sophia, are outraged by this. And at the behest of one of her friends, Sophia joins the Women's Social and Political Union and starts attending meetings. The leaders of the WSPU were thrilled that Sophia was joining because Sophia was literally fucking famous. So it was like really good PR having her at meetings. And they kind of like encourage her to speak. But at first she kind of keeps like a lowish profile. She doesn't give any speeches. She does throw a lot of money at groups organizing for universal suffrage. And by 1909, she started refusing to pay her taxes until women are given the vote, much to the king's frustration. Yeah, love that.
Well, I'm sure her taxes were a little hefty.
I'm sure she had a lot of property.
Yeah.
But she was like, no taxation without representation, bitch.
She would have loved not being tread on.
Yeah, she would have loved snacks.
Rest in peace, queen. You would have loved that little snake.
We stand a libertarian monarch queen. Then in 1910, the Black Friday incident I talked about in the intro happened. Because she was so famous and recognizable, Sophia was placed at the front of the crowd of women marching to Parliament alongside the leaders of the movement like Emmeline Pankhurst and Flora Drummond. So she was basically like right at the center of all the horrific violence visited upon the suffragists by the police. And like I said, she actually placed herself between a woman and a police officer who was beating the woman, which was very brave of her. And before the police officer ran away, Sophia managed to read and memorize his badge number, V700. So after she got
memorize.
Yeah. Luckily, they're pretty easy to memorize. V700.
Yeah. Like, I'm surprised the police haven't made it like a 40-digit identifying code.
Like a
just
VIN.
To make it harder. Yeah.
Maybe they
like,
did
actually,
after this.
I need a police sketch to like draw the barcode on
it's a QR code.
On his badge.
Yeah. You're like, hold still. I'm trying to get your badge number. So after she got home, she dedicated herself to some of the most important grunt work involved in activism. That is
posting.
being very fucking annoying.
Yeah. So
the same thing. Posting. Yeah. So she writes up a bunch of complaints about V700 to the commissioner of police and like, can I speak to your managers herself all the way up to the home secretary.
I love it.
Who was friend of the podcast, Winston fucking Churchill.
Oh my God.
As it was, Winston Churchill had been sharply criticized for Black Friday because it happened under his watch, and having to answer to Princess Sophia, an Indian suffragette, two categories of person that he fucking hated, who outranked him, was like humiliating to him.
Yeah.
And for that reason alone, she's iconic.
Yeah.
She keeps at him, and his final response to the police is send no further reply to her. So Winston Churchill basically tries to leave Princess Sophia on red. After this, Sophia starts giving more speeches and chairing more meetings at the WSPU. Like, she's emboldened by all of this. And here is a picture of her handing out her suffragette zine.
They love zines.
Oh my God, leftists love zines so much. Especially, I mean,
Amazing.
She's not a lesbian, but she is lesbian adjacent because her sister is. Lesbians love zines.
Yeah. Well, they're
She's all
sisters, so
bundled
she was
up.
definitely she's
She's
probably
part lesbian.
bisexual.
Lesbian
Yeah.
on her sister's side.
Yeah. I'm a lesbian on my sister's side.
Yeah.
When she
I love
died, it
her.
passed to me. It's our family curse.
So this podcast is so problematic. I love it. So on February 6th, 1911, Sophia takes a little stroll on over to 10 Downing Street, the residence of the Prime Minister. This is the day of the state opening of Parliament, basically the start of the parliamentary year. So everyone is going to meet at the Houses of Parliament so that King George V could give a little speech telling all the politicians, like, you know, happy political new year, whatever, like, go do politics. So
that was
lots
exactly
of-
it, verbatim.
Yeah, that's
Happy
it. That was the
political new
speech.
year. Now
This
go do
beautiful
politics.
speechwriter. Beautiful speechwriter. Lots of people are crowding outside of Parliament and outside of Downing Street. Like, that's normal. It didn't seem unusual to see Sophia there. And as Asquith got into his car, Sophia darted out from the crowd, pulling a poster that said "Votes for Women" out of her fur muff and threw herself on top of the Prime Minister's windshield.
Based.
Fucking love her. And as the police came and lifted her up off of the car and carried her away, she was like kicking and screaming suffragette slogans at Asquith.
Amazing.
Love her. But remember, she's famous. So when she attacks the Prime Minister's car, it's like bad press for everyone.
Yeah.
And if the police throw her in jail, then it's even more bad press, and it's a royal scandal on top of that. And the administration is also, like, Asquith's administration is also really conscious of, like, making a martyr of her. Like, if they do anything like put her in prison, like, people will get mad. So they decide to release Sophia without charge in order to avoid a scandal. And she's consistently like this kind of activist where she knows that she has privilege because they don't want to arrest her because that will be bad press for them. So she's constantly like doing things to challenge them that would get like normal women arrested because she can.
Yeah.
She's using her privilege for good. But in December of 1913, the government ends up summoning Sophia to court because she hadn't been paying her taxes for like 4 years at that point.
Yeah, they can definitely get you on the stuff you're actually doing that's like unrelated, girl. Like,
and she'd been this is unhinged. She'd been keeping dogs without a dog license.
was she driving them?
Why did you need a dog license?
What the you know what? Actually, maybe there should be dog licenses now because I've seen the way people raise some of their dogs. Dog license.
Fair. A dog license.
Well, was it because she was breeding them?
Maybe.
Because like
maybe it
maybe
was
you needed a
specifically
license
breeding
for that. They
to
didn't need like
breed.
a bunch of like. Well, you know what? When they come to your house and there's all these like 3-headed, 2-legged dogs like crawling around, drooling all over themselves.
We have to
you know
find her
what?
for this. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have to
Like
find
she
her.
can't keep getting away with this.
This is fucked up. So again, the crime of not paying taxes carried possible prison time, but the judge ruled that she be fined instead of taken to prison.
Yeah, because they want the money.
It's a bad look. Yeah, they want the money, but they don't want to put her in jail because that would be a bad look for them. But she also refused to pay her fine. She was like, okay.
Yeah, make me.
So bailiffs came to her home and confiscated some of her jewelry, which the police auctioned off. But then one of her friends just like attended the auction and purchased her diamond ring and gave it back to her.
Being rich is hilarious.
Being rich is hilarious. Be like, what now,
Like,
bitch?
Laws
don't apply to you.
Apply to you.
Yeah. It's funny when they're based. It's not funny when they're doing things that hurt people. But when she's like, until women have rights, I'm breaking as many laws as I can because they don't apply to me anyway.
Yeah.
Sophia never stopped campaigning for women's rights, but at the outbreak of World War I, she volunteered as a nurse for the Red Cross. And during her time as a nurse, she tended many wounded Indian soldiers who had been sent to the military hospital in London from the Western Front. And the Sikh soldiers were kind of like starstruck that they were being cared for by the granddaughter of Rajit Singh, which I think is really cute.
Yeah, it's like when Princess Diana comes into the hospital.
Yeah.
To like hold
oh
your hand or whatever.
She literally is the Princess Diana of her day.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you a picture of her dressed up as a nurse in her Red Cross uniform. This is 1916.
Cute.
Again, very serious. Bitches there to work.
The armbands really put me off. I know that's not a problem yet, but let's not have any cross-shaped items on an armband.
You know, the Nazis really ruined
everything.
armbands for everyone. Yeah.
Armbands, cute little mustaches, Hugo Boss.
Yeah. God, so many fashion accessories just ruined. It's really the worst thing that they've done.
I mean, I'm not at that season yet, but I agree with you.
In 1918, British women over the age of 30 were granted suffrage, and in 1928, that was expanded to British women over 21. They got voting rights so fucking late. I'm saying this as an American. Yeah. 1920 fucking 8?
That's
you fucking kidding
wild.
Me?
After they've already invented bicycles and cameras, that's wild.
Insane. Sophia returned to India several more times throughout her life, where she continued campaigning for women's rights and universal suffrage. In a 1934 edition of Who's Who, she described her life's purpose as the advancement of women.
Oh, I love that.
I know. Sophia's sister Bamba ended up settling permanently in India in 1915, where she met and married an Australian doctor named David Sutherland, who was the principal at King Edward Medical College in Lahore. So it was kind of nice. She didn't get to become a doctor, but she married one. You know, not as
that
great,
would be
but
good
at least
enough for me.
Yeah, at least they had similar interests.
Yeah, Princess and the Doctor, amazing.
Yeah. Sutherland would eventually move to Scotland, and he tried to bring Bamba with him, but she refused to leave Lahore. She was like, this is my homeland. I love it here. I'm never setting foot outside of Lahore for the rest of my life.
I heard tell of the monster that lives there.
Yeah. That fucking smudge.
Like, a nice try, bitch. You can risk your own life. I'm good here.
So she remained in Lahore. And she actually organized the burial of several of her immediate relatives' ashes in their ancestral homeland. Like a lot of her family members from before they were allowed to travel there, they were also not allowed to be interred in India. So they were buried in England, or their ashes were scattered in England. But for a few of them, she managed to get some of their ashes and have them scattered in India per their wishes. As I mentioned before, Catherine Duleep Singh died of a heart attack in 1942. Per her wishes, some of Catherine's ashes were scattered at their childhood home in Elvedon, and a quarter of her ashes were taken to Germany to be buried with the love of her life, Lena Schaefer. Sophia died 6 years later in 1948 at the age of 72. She was also cremated, and her ashes were spread in India by Bamba. Bamba, the oldest sister, was also the last remaining sister. She died in Lahore in 1957. Her final resting place is in Gora Cemetery in what is now Pakistan. Bamba's headstone is inscribed with a Persian poem. The difference between royalty and servility vanishes the moment the writing of destiny is encountered. If one opens the grave, none would be able to discern rich from poor.
That's so true.
It's so true, and it's based to have that poem etched on your headstone as a literal fucking princess.
I mean, it depends how expensive the headstone looks, because you're like, well, maybe I can tell. But
it
like,
does
it's
look
like
that
nice. Thing, yeah, where people are like, oh, we're gonna dig up your bone. Some sex skeleton pervert is gonna dig up your bones in 100 years and be like, you're a man, and it's like, okay. But was I rich or was I poor? You can't tell. You don't know.
I think
it's
actually easier to tell if someone
followers I had.
You can't tell that. I think it is actually easier to tell if someone was rich or poor than if someone was male or female.
Yeah.
like literally.
Yeah.
So that's an episode that I started writing about Sophia, but kind of like ended up being about all of the sisters because the family is so fucking based.
Yeah, I love literally all of them.
Me too. Protect them. Apparently, there is a movie in the works about Sophia. And like I said, some of the activism that Catherine did with Lena is like researchers are still like kind of coming to grips with all of it. So I'm sure in like the coming years, we'll get that biography and that movie. I want to hear
yes.
more about Catherine and Lena getting Jews out of Germany.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Like Schindler, but lesbian. So much better than Schindler's List.
Schindler's Lesbian.
Schindler's Lesbians.
Schindler's Les is
Yes.
is amazing. Okay, well, I'm obsessed. I love that. Thank you.
Love it so much. You're so welcome. Should we do our motherfucking socials?
Oh yeah, I'm Kaylin.
I don't know how to
Conrad
do my
everywhere.
fucking job.
Um,
Okay, yeah, Kaylin is Kaylin Conrad everywhere. You can follow me on Twitter at Punished Hoots. You can follow us on all platforms at _respect the dead. Thanks to our editor, Davi Armanino, for editing this episode. You can check out more of their work at daviarmanino.com. And you should, because they're very good and amazing and patient. All right. Love you all. See you in the next
you.
one.
Bye.
Bye.